It's Thursday. You know what time it is. Time for the hottest wrestling podcast on the planet. Beyond the Barricade with your hosts, Dollar Bill, the Cleaner, and the Brain. Let's get started, gentlemen.
Yeah, welcome
So,
back to
how was
another glory season.
how was
Yes.
your guys' break?
Busy as fuck.
Busy here
Oh my
too.
God.
Busy
You
sleeping
first.
on the bed?
No. Pulling 60-hour weeks for like 6 weeks straight.
Here comes the money.
Yeah. You know it.
Cha-ching.
Now I'm back down to only 42 hours a week. Maybe a little
Yeah.
more, depending on how busy we are on the weekends.
Hey, it's quiet. Get some more time to chill.
Yeah, maybe I can get caught up on all my wrestling.
Oh God, that's the thing. We got a lot to catch up, but before we start doing that, we're going to basically explain what we're going to be doing mostly this season. Vince,
Yeah,
Vinny, you want to take it away?
This season's going to be a little bit different.
Oh, hey Vinny, how you doing?
Yeah,
no,
we're gonna give the big boys a break, because everybody in the world and their mother are talking about the big guys.
And the unborn children too. Don't forget them.
Yeah, kids are best seen, not heard.
Anyway,
right now, this season, we're going to concentrate on the farm system, as we should call it, because that's what the independent circuit is. It's the farm system for the big boys.
We did enough of NXT. Let's talk about people that are not related to them.
Yeah.
We're not talking about the NXT. We're talking
not
about
AEW, not Ring of Honor. Well, can we?
We are talking about.
We can,
like,
but up to a certain point.
Yeah.
We're talking about like teams like the Newark Bears would be.
Extinct?
Where are they?
Yeah, they're extinct.
Yeah.
They haven't played in like a decade and their stadium has been demolished.
Yeah, I know. That sucks.
It does.
Stadium too.
That was a good stadium.
I could get into a whole spiel about how the Mets are assholes because there could have been AAA baseball there, but another time.
Another time.
We'll save that for another day.
Yeah.
We all know the Mets are assholes.
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud?
You said the quiet part out loud.
That's what I thought. Okay. But yeah, the independent circuit. The small-time promotions all around the country who have produced some very, very talented and very well-known stars.
Before we talk about the stars and, the history of independent, at least I just wanted to ask, what is your guys' interpretation of independent wrestling? Like, what makes a promotion an independent promotion?
Well, first and foremost, no kind of major TV deal.
So, okay, I got a question. I got a follow-up. So, obviously, no national TV deal. What about local television? If they're on like their local UBS or UPN channel, or if they're on their local, public broadcasting,
something like that,
public access.
Thank you.
Yes, I almost forgot the word too.
Oh, we're talking about like Wayne's World.
Yep.
Yeah. Like if
I would still qualify them as an independent because it's so localized. The public access channels are so localized.
Yeah.
Like somebody on, like, I don't know, like a channel in East Bumblefuck, Iowa. We're not going to see that over here on the East Coast. Likewise, people in East Bumblefuck, Iowa are not going to see what used to be Jersey City Channel 1 on Comcast.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, one thing I would also add to that, to me at least, is they're not signing people to contracts.
Right.
That's another thing.
It's a per show basis.
Yeah, it's a per appearance.
They don't have a set roster.
Yeah. Well,
they may have 3 or 4 guys who are
there's
more
gonna be a
local
lot.
and
there's a lot of
well known in the area.
Yeah. there's like to me, there's a lot of independent promotions that you're going to see their same regular people there, and a lot of it is because that's the only place they can get booked.
Right.
Interesting.
It could be because they're just that bad, or it's just they're that loyal to the promotion.
Yeah. Now, okay. So now we talked about what classifies an independent promotion. What what I want to know now is what is your guys' like first introduction to independent wrestling?
My first introduction was a local promotion in Jersey City. I went to a show at Dickinson High School.
Oh
Called
God.
the World Wrestling Federation.
It did have a few WWF stars at the show. However, it was still run by
Vince
a local
McMahon.
guy. It was still run by a local guy who was actually a wrestler for a little while. Joe Napolitano,
Mhm.
Cool.
Smoking Joe.
What was the name of the promotion? Do you remember?
I honestly don't remember.
No name promotion.
Yeah, pretty much. I really don't remember it, but
I don't want to be that guy
Yes, you do.
and date you. But what year was it?
I would say probably 1989, 88,
Mm,
89.
okay.
So I was about 13 or 14 years old.
Do you
Go
remember
way
any of the
back.
matches on that show?
I do remember, uh, as bizarre as this sounds, it was a full-on WWF match. Junkyard Dog versus Paul Orndorff.
Were they signed to WWF at that time?
Yes, they were.
Oh wow.
Yes, they were.
Yeah, then
They
they
were
stopped out
truly,
not indies.
yeah, they were truly living out that independent promote or independent contractor thing.
Yeah.
Had to.
So did you know about indie wrestling before this show?
Oh yeah, I'd been watching it on TV all the time. Every Saturday I was watching it. But I
Mm,
really got hooked in March of 87.
mm.
March 29th in 1987.
Okay.
Really sank the hook into me.
What about you, Will?
Hook, line, and sinker. All right, well, Dollar Beer here says, first off, why does it show my own name? I don't care. All right, my first time in indie wrestling was a Jersey All Pro show over in Sayreville, way
Mhm.
back. I barely remember the show, but I remember the performers, and I also remember the last match ended with a run-in from the Haas brothers because that was the first
Oh
time.
wow.
That's why I was telling everybody was telling me, "You gotta watch it." I was like, "Okay," and I
Mm,
saw them both of the running, and just the crowd ate it up. You know, I enjoyed the show because it was just like something completely different. I mean, it was in a bar pretty much, and
yeah.
everything was just really like it felt like all I needed was just some hay and some pitchforks on the other side, be like in the center middle of a barn, but it was fun though, because
Mhm.
it's it was just like beginner stuff,
So
I guess.
so yeah, you said the only people you remember on that show was like a run-in from the Haas brothers?
I remember running from hospitals. I remember seeing Loki. I remember Insane Dragon. But that's all I can
Let's
remember.
see if I can pull this up.
This is like we've been around 2000, I would say, give or take.
Now, did you know of independent wrestling before
No,
you went to this? No. So
not
this was
no.
the
I mean,
first time.
I'll explain. I mean, I've heard of it because I've seen
Mhm,
some of the posters around town, and even when I was down and when I was doing my travels down south a bit, like I
mhm.
saw the posters hanging around like of local things, but I kind of honestly felt like it almost felt like they were like Fight Club in a way. My brain was like not understand. Like I never been to a show, so all I could think was,
Yeah.
oh, these guys gonna wrestle underground in like in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of a basement with like a broken ass ring. Kind of Jersey Opera said, nah, it's not exactly how we do it.
Okay, so
Although
we
they
have
do break wings though.
I did look it up. we do have
What
there's
date was
3
it?
shows in about a span of 2 months from
Hmm.
Sayreville.
Okay.
One is just called JAPW. Another one is called JAPW Night of the Main Events. And the final one is JAPW September Slaughter.
I don't think it was
So,
any of those, like those last two. But you
so
might
the
you
first
might get to
one, the main event was Hit Squad versus Lathion and the Orphan for the tag titles.
okay.
The main event of the next show was Louis Ramos, which is Low Life, versus
Mhm.
Jay Lover in a suicidal title match. And then the next one, the main event was the Hit Squad versus Don Montoya and Homicide for the tag titles.
Hmm.
They all have low key.
Yeah, he's a staple.
Yeah, he was. I don't see. You said Crazy Dragon,
Insane Dragon.
Insane Dragon.
He might have been known as like Blue Dragon at one point.
Yeah, there was a
Yeah,
student
Blue
title
Dragon.
match. Blue Dragon on the
Relax,
first
Eddie
one.
Martinez, Little Dixie, and Blue Dragon.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I remember Dixie, but I don't remember it in the show.
So that's cool. Yeah. So my
Yeah.
first so I'm gonna my first independent wrestling show was in 2016. That's where we actually met.
Right.
Um, but what I'm gonna tell
Homecoming.
you about my first experience with independent wrestling was it was around 2006, maybe 2007. And I was watching Raw, you know, back in the old times when I actually did watch that show. They ran a commercial for Jersey All Pro Wrestling, and they were advertising, I think, a show in Jersey City. I don't remember specifically what, but I do know, I do remember they were advertising. The only thing I really remember from that was that they were advertising Christian.
Hmm.
And so this is right after he left WWE. He was in TNA. He did a couple of shows actually for ROH. I think that was the footage they used. And I think he actually was NWA champion at the time. So that was my first ever like seeing wrestling outside of TNA and outside of WWE. And then I remember also around that time is when I first heard about like Ring of Honor, because I'm not
Ooh.
sure if I ever told you guys this story. The first time I ever heard about Ring of Honor was when Brian Danielson first got signed, or at least he was getting scouted for the first time. He was getting scouted out by WWE, and it was like an article on NoDQ.com, and they were talking about either he was close to signing or they were trying to sign him.
I remember back in like that wasn't that back in like the mid 2000s,
It
like
was
the late 2000s?
between 2007 and 2009.
That's what I was figuring.
This is right before he gets signed,
Right.
and then he this is before he also got fired the first time for choking out Justin Roberts.
Oops.
Yeah,
The
oops.
Dapper Yapper.
And I love it how they teased that again when he came to AEW. That was funny.
Yeah.
Choking.
But yeah,
Choke.
so we'll cover this later in the episode about how I started to get enthralled with independent wrestling. But yeah, my first show was Jersey All Pro. I think it was called Homecoming.
Homecoming
Mm.
at the
Yep.
Pavilion.
Yeah, which is now a Costco.
Yep.
Ah, funny.
So yeah, now it's a Costco. And it actually didn't cost like they had the Costco built in like it felt like 4 months because it wasn't much of a teardown.
No,
Wait,
it
where
was a
was this
Uh,
at?
freaking tent.
so yeah, the pavilion it was called. It was the BCB Pavilion. It was like a little event thing, but it was literally just a tent with like steel
I,
beams.
I didn't know there was a Costco in Jersey City.
It's
No,
not. It's
Bayonne.
Bayonne
Oh, dude,
on,
yeah. I thought it
on
was
East
funny. You said
34th Street,
no,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
across
yeah.
the
thought
street from the
yeah, I
firehouse.
know. Like when you said because you were talking about Costco, I was like, The only Costco I know is in Bayonne, but you said Jersey City,
Yeah.
so it threw me off.
Oh, did I say Jersey City?
No, that's
One
where he first heard about Jersey All Pro.
Yeah, yeah,
First
yeah.
show he
Okay,
went
that's
The
to was
first
in
show I went
Bayonne.
to was in Bayonne.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's I could have sworn I heard Jersey City. That's what
it
threw
was
me
there.
off. Like,
Oh, I apologize about that. If I said Jersey City, I do apologize about
that's
that.
okay.
But yeah, no, this was their first show in Bayonne in I think like 8 years.
Easily.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, I remember just like, you know what? They're finally coming back to Bayonne, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go get a ticket. I'm gonna do
Mhm.
this.
Oh,
And
by the way,
then push comes to shove, I'm sitting right next to RPM,
boom, boom.
and then I'm sitting right one side of me is RPM, the other side is me is Brain. And Brain
That
just
brain.
started talking to me, and I was talking to RPM, and then we just hit it off.
Yep.
By the way, since this is years after, I can still say fuck Doria.
Fuck who?
Whitman.
I thought it was what Doria
Oh,
who's the one who got him run
No,
out
it
of
was
town.
Whitman.
I don't want to fuck her. No thanks.
no, I think it was Doria
Doria was a mayor of Bayonne who basically
for
bragged about getting
most,
run out of
yeah.
town.
But
He
by
bragged about it.
2008, he wasn't mayor anymore in 2008.
No, and he had that scandal too.
Yeah. Yeah, he was right. It was right in the middle of that scandal.
I still say fuck
Um,
him anyway because he was an ass.
Aren't most politicians?
yeah, true. True.
No, most politicians you want to kick him in the ass.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
they're
like,
assholes.
Yeah, no,
I
we're
was a
full of it.
kid during that time, and Doria
Some
was like nice to the
some of them
kids.
qualify for the asshole award. Some of them qualify for the whole ass award.
Yeah.
Oh God. I guess that's what it calls screwing you over. Anyway,
So, but yeah,
Um,
I think I started talking to you about what I call love child alerts.
yes, yes, I remember
oh
that.
yeah, he had
Like literally every match, there was at least like one love child alert.
because they actually were true. When you look at
Yeah,
Yeah.
them.
and I had you and RPM cracking up with some of them.
And I will say this. I
Hmm.
I don't think we would have became friends, but I remember we were talking and I had stayed around to wait to hear from you if Mac was all right. And you were like, "Oh no, he's just selling. He's just selling. It's a work." I was like,
Yeah,
"Oh, okay, good." And then, we discussed contact information and then, you know,
One
then
thing led
we
to
had
another,
met
and
again at
legends are
Calm Before the
born.
Storm.
yeah, that was like what? Oh no, that was a while after.
That was a couple months.
Yeah.
A while back. Man, I think probably though the best. I was to say real quick. Also, my best experience because after Jersey Alpha was a great one. Then I went to JCW. Then I went to one of the first Ring of Honor shows, and that was an experience.
So you talk about JCW before it became GCW?
I would say, yeah, because I didn't know JCW and GCW were the same.
Yeah,
So yeah, there was Jersey Championship Wrestling.
Exactly. That's what I
That
remember.
event that was bought out by Brett, I think in like 2013, 2014. Then
Okay.
it became GCW. And
Gotcha.
I remember seeing it like the first couple of videos after the name change. And I remember it was strictly deathmatch. Like they were trying to be like,
they were
you know,
literally trying to kill each other.
yeah, it was
Pretty much.
trying to be CZW
Yeah,
when
I was gonna say just
CZW
like
first
him.
started.
Yeah.
And so I remember there was like a couple of videos out of Game Changer World. And the
Pew
one I
pew.
remember specifically, I can't remember who it was. I want to say Joey Janela.
Okay.
Joey Janela cracking Hornswoggle with a light tube.
Probably was Joey.
Because I remember the old JCW shows and like the last couple of ones, they were in some like it looked like a dining hall, like this really fancy place.
I remember one of the shows were in that. I remember. Oh God, I remember that.
Yeah, yeah. It was the last couple of JCW shows before the name change. And I remember they wanted to do the name change because at that time, Juggalo Championship Wrestling was still hot.
Oh
It was
yeah.
still hot, and because it was actually getting hotter. Because
Yeah.
I just remember the craziest shit happening there. And
I remember
so
that.
they wanted to separate from that. So that's why they changed the Game
Ooh,
Changer.
Right? Those
And then
juggalos, man.
yeah,
Memories.
and it wasn't until a couple of years ago that they actually got that name back. They got so they when they did the name change and Brett bought the company, he didn't have the rights to Jersey Championship Wrestling.
Right.
So that was pretty much like dead. But
Yeah.
then a couple of years ago, he was able to buy out that the rights to that. So now
Nice.
they have their own feeder system called
Cool.
Jersey Championship Wrestling.
Mm.
Um,
But
but-
what'd you ah
yeah, what'd you find?
yeah, Brad, because you
it
said
wasn't.
ooh,
It's not
ooh,
the light tube shot on Hornswoggle,
boom.
but it's somebody helping Joey Janela by hitting somebody with a light tube.
Yeah, there was those early shows where like I remember watching it and just being like, because I was following them. I remember I was following them as Jersey Championship Wrestling,
Mm-hmm.
and then the name change happened, and I was still following them, and I'm like, this is some weird shit. Why do they like? What the hell happened? And then like I that's when I was like watching more independent wrestling. Like 2013, 2014 is where I like went head over heels into independent wrestling. And
Point.
yeah.
Yeah, I was in heavily involved in watching the independent circuit with going to Ring of Honor thanks to
Mhm.
Dollar Bill, and of course Jersey All Pro, also thanks to Dollar Bill, and then of course becoming the medic for Jersey All Pro, and then
Hmm.
GCW
Mm-hmm.
and ICW.
So
ICW?
yeah.
Yeah,
The
Danny DeMonto's crew. No holds
Okay.
barred.
Insane Championship?
Yeah, Insane
That's
So what
Championship
the
Wrestling.
hell? Because there's an ICW in Scotland that I
Yeah,
think is called Insane Championship. Is that the same company?
no,
Doubt it.
That's weird to do. So that, I mean, I guess that's why they have to call it ICW No Holds Barred.
yes. Plus, they don't use ropes; they use chains.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's gonna hurt. That's got to hurt.
They don't have the quite the same bounce as the ropes.
Exactly. Yeah. That's gonna hurt.
Yeah. I want to, so I want to just tell this quick story about how, like, what got me, like, head over heels into independent wrestling. And it's going to have, like, something to do with a promotion we're going to talk about in a future episode. But, so I don't know if you guys were big into this. Were you guys watchers of Botchamania?
Oh God, yeah. I like Botchamania because
Loved it.
I
I
like the
loved it.
format. I love the format they
Yeah,
do, and
Yeah.
I love that opening video. I was like, oh my
Yeah,
God.
usually be a wrestler like intentionally messing up.
And
It
then
was
the
really funny.
and then the old SmackDown theme with them. I was like,
Yep.
I was really impressed with that
Everybody,
intro. Everybody.
you know,
That's
I
still
found out Jim
that's my
Johnson
favorite
said
piece.
that he doesn't remember what he said or like recording that because that's him.
If you
That
fall
voice you
falling
hear is
down,
him. He said has no clue what the lyrics are because he was just mumbling. Probably.
probably, man.
Probably.
Hey Snoop, you want to hit?
But yeah, no, Botchamania opened the door to me to watch like so many like that's how I really discovered like the talent of the Young Bucks. Because Botchamania I started watching around 2009. Because
Okay, yeah.
that's where I started looking at like the dirt sheet, specifically NoDQ.com.
Mm,
Like I started watching like I was able to like watch like WWE.com videos. Like that's where I became a really big fan of Edge. So I remember watching, I'll tell you what, WWE.com in like 2005, 6, and 7 had way better content than than the WWE network because this is to show you what the type of person I am. I still believed back then that wrestling was real. Mind you, I'm in sixth grade. This is where I should be learning that it's fake. And so I would go on
somebody
WWE.
smack him for that.
Yeah, I know, right?
no, Sixth grade, sixth grade is about the right time. That's about the right time. It's like learning about
Yeah, but
Santa
I'm not
Claus.
talking about
Yeah.
him learning that it's. I'm smacking him for what he said.
What?
Oh wait,
The F word.
Oh
yep,
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, okay, okay.
yeah.
I
Kayfabe.
realized. Before it was I found out it was predetermined.
There you
I
go.
apologize
There you
about
go.
that.
Or in other words,
I
scripted.
really I totally forgot that I said it. But
That's why I
like I was
smacked you.
saying, so I was still believing it was real, and like WWE.com had like videos, like 5 questions with the champ, and I would always send the question.
Oh, I like
Never
those.
got a reply from Cena. It was like he would literally just stand in front of a green screen and just read off 5 answers. Yeah, like literally like that. And he would just answer 5 random questions that was sent into him. It was so, oh my God, the show was so funny. And it would just rip on Brawler for no reason at all.
Oh, because
I
he's
don't know
fun to rip
why.
on.
He would
He was
always
fun to rip on.
just give shit to Brooklyn Brawler for no reason. And so, like there was other shows, like if you ever heard of Vince McMahon's Ass cartoon,
Yep.
look it up. It's actually kind of funny. But there was another one, and it was basically like WWE's version of Cribs. And one episode they had Edge.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna stop you. Okay,
What?
we're getting way off topic.
Long story short, he had a devil sweater in his locker, and I became a fan of him. That's okay. Long story short.
There we go.
But
Too long, didn't read.
so the point I was trying to say was that so there was these videos like that, and that's when I first discovered Botchamania. Botchamania would have all these like different mess ups from all these different promotions, from your biggest promotions to your smallest promotions. And I remember it, especially in the era of like '08 to like 2016, right in the middle of the episode, they would always have a trailer for PWG.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And that's how I discovered the Young Bucks. That's how I discovered Kevin Steen, El Generico, Chris Hero, Eddie Kingston, Kenny Omega. The list goes on. The top stars of wrestling today were wrestling in those independent promotions at that time. And man, that's one episode. If we need to look for a topic for an episode, let's look at the how independent wrestling changed in like those early 2010s, and it became the hot product no matter what promotion. Like it could be like PWG, Jersey All Pro, Warrior Wrestling, even the small ones like 2CW. Do you remember that? That was one in like, I think it's like upstate New York. But yeah, they had all these different promotions
all around.
Yeah,
we gotta look into that because I remember Brain showed a map of like and gave us a list of states that had wrestling, and it was amazing that it's like I would have thought all 50 states had something, but no, only like 28, I think it was
29 states. Yeah,
only 29 states out of 50 has some sort of indie wrestling.
or had.
Exactly.
Now,
which
remember,
means that we got to go up. I know it's like it's a wicked thing, but it still means there's a lot that are either undiscovered that are still or they're so small that like, they don't really talk about much, or they're still non-existent, but we still got to look into them because, there might be some hidden gems in those places.
Oh, yeah.
Question for you guys.
Ask away.
Favorite memory from an independent wrestling show? Whichever one of you wants to start first.
I'll be real quick. My favorite memory was at one of the Ring of Honor shows when they were in Philly and they had threatened to close the whole place down because it was overcrowded because someone called a fire marshal, and we were all running around like pretty much figuring out who that was calling a fire marshal.
Question: Was it free? Was it ECW Arena? And if so, was it pre-renovation?
No.
Oh wow!
It was a Murphy Rec. Yeah, it was Murphy Rec. and it was hilarious. I think one point someone started Dawn Marie, and we started a fuck ECW chant. I was like, oops. It was either fuck ECW or fuck Dawn Marie. One of them, but
Dawn Marie.
I can't remember. That's like that's why my brain is kind of like fuzzy. But I
Yeah,
remember
how you going to do doing that way, man? That's wrong.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart.
it was either there or Francine. It was like one of them. Somebody was bit. It's like, remember, this was back in the day before internet, so everybody was sprouting out rumors. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we were just
Oh, you know what? That's probably right in the middle of the Tori's dad storyline.
Probably.
yeah,
What about
yeah.
you,
So
John?
that's
Ring of Honor, Edison, New Jersey.
I feel like I know where you're going.
You know exactly where I'm going.
I think
Yeah.
we all know where you're going.
Very painful
Well,
memory.
the audience doesn't know.
You sure about that?
I was at a Ring of Honor show with Dollar Bill and a couple of other friends. It was a match between Necro Butcher and Kevin Steen.
Oh
We're
God!
sitting on the corner of the front row, right at the corner. Kevin Steen is standing in front of me. Necro Butcher comes charging at him, and Kevin Steen flips him over the barricade. I turn to look. My friends are gone. I look up. I got a 275-pound man coming down on top of me. Let me tell you, that didn't feel good.
I think we tried to warn you too. We were like, "Yo, you didn't
Can I
pay
ask-
attention."
Yeah, because Jack was with us too, because he was sitting on the other corner. I was right on the corner. You and our other friend was sitting next to me on my right. Jack was on the corner to my left. I turned to talk to him. I turned back. You and our other friend are gone. And the next thing I know, I'm buried under a 275-pound man, and my chair collapsed. Because it was one of those really cheap plastic folding chairs.
Yep.
You know, it's crazy. This isn't the first time they wrestled.
No, it's not.
Especially in ROH, because I tried looking it up, and the only response I was given was from a pay-per-view in 2008. Because what I'm trying to look up is what specific show that is, so that I can see if I could find it on watchroh.com.
Yeah. I don't remember if it was being filmed or not. It probably was, but I don't remember.
One thing I do want to ask, was this during the ROH versus CZW feud?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
No.
This was a straight ROH show.
Okay.
Even though Necro Butcher was on the show, and I know he was working CZW at the time, it was 99% Ring of Honor staff, Ring of Honor performers.
Well, no, during that time, even though it would be an art, like the two promotions were working together, and they actually did an interpromotional feud that is like still widely considered one of the best feuds of all time.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt.
Yeah.
But I don't believe it was part of the feud angle. But I do remember that the trainers came out to check on me, and they brought me in the back, and that's where I met them boys.
Them boys.
Them boys. And every time I would go to a Ring of Honor show after that, I always made sure I had front row seats, or at least second row seats. And I would make sure I was right by the barricade. When they were coming by, they would stop and say hello to me and say, "How you doing, Crush?" Yeah, they started calling me Crush.
I love that.
I'm always gonna love the Briscoes. Always gonna have love. So my independent wrestling, my favorite moment of all time. As much as I know Brain would want me to say the day that we first met.
That's a good memory.
Or probably the time that Danny D'Amano
almost killed you.
Killed me. There's a couple of other promotions or times shaking hands with Nick Gage, and he actually came up to me And because that's the type of dude he is. But what I'm gonna say is actually, ironically, the shirt that I'm wearing, all in, driving 20 hours the night before to get to this show in
Hmm.
Chicago.
That's
And
a great
just
memory.
that whole experience, that whole weekend, it's insane because, even though it was being helped by the Ring of Honor staff, it was fully funded by the Bucks and Cody. And man, that was a night.
Hmm.
I still remember exactly where I was. I still remember every match.
Of course you do.
Wonderful
I
night.
I also figured you were going to go somewhere else with your favorite memory.
Um,
2019,
Mm.
Jersey City, Newark Avenue.
oh, meeting Minoru Suzuki.
Yes.
Yes, no, that was a wonderful moment. I'd probably say that's number two. But yeah, no, all in. I mean, hell, I got this shirt at Chicago the next day when we were driving back. We stopped off at the Pro Wrestling Tee store and I picked this
Good.
up. Yeah, no, I'm
Mhm.
always gonna remember this night.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Oh hell yeah.
So, I mean, I guess we only got a couple minutes left. Any last thoughts?
Glad to be back.
Yep. This is going to be a very interesting season because we got a
Covering.
lot of interesting promotions that we can bring up. A lot of memories from promotions that we've gone to bring up.
I think starting next year, we got to start hitting up a couple of them.
Oh yeah,
I would
definitely.
love to, yeah. Since we're all
Yeah.
in the area, yeah.
Well, you
Yeah.
guys are. I'm not.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
close enough.
Yeah, you're close enough. Get in the center.
Yep.
But, we'll find some Philly shows. We'll go there.
Yeah.
Or Allentown.
So for everybody watching the audience, I would love to I hope this makes you want to watch independent wrestling. I hope,
Definitely.
this whole season could help get you
Highly
in.
recommended. Highly recommended independent wrestling. You gotta do the
Yeah.
show at least once in your life. You have to.
Also, if there's any independent programs out there by our viewers that we should check out, let us know.
Let
Email
us know.
ultemtbtbpodcast@gmail.com. Twitter,
T-
BTB Podcast 34.
Who knows? We might watch a match.
We
Just
might watch a
also
whole show.
put
You
in the
never know.
comments.
Yeah.
Put in the comments too.
So with
All right.
that, Brian,
All right.
take us out.
Gentlemen, until next week. Too sweet.
Boom, 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 boom.
Guns up.